co-founder and director of an Australian company called FreshChain Systems. FreshChain Systems is a RegTech, food safety or traceability and provenance platform. So today's subject is smart packaging and the new consumer, but I just want to share a story that I found quite revealing, and it made me think. So I have two daughters who are 26 and 24, and I was talking to my oldest daughter one day about something, and she said, "Oh, well, Dad, it wasn't like that in my generation compared to that of my sister." And I said, well, hold on a second. I said, "What do you mean?" I said, "You're the same generation." And she said, "Not in technology, Dad." She said, "I left school just before Snapchat was launched, and look at the impact that has had since." And it really made me think. I thought, oh my God, like my revelation was we think of generational change, father, grandfather, great-grandfather. In the technology age, that's not the way it's happening. Technology redundancy is happening incredibly quickly, so companies need to be really agile to be able to step into a window of opportunity that might only be there for 18 months. And then they need to be agile enough to adapt and adjust again to find the next way that this generation of young people who have money to spend are looking to engage. That was a real revelation for me. Set aside the idea of generational change in the old ways, in the technology ways. Think about that in a much more crunch space. So what are the different generations? Well, you've got your builders, and there's probably not too many of them here. You've got your baby boomers, there's probably still quite a few of us around. You've got your Gen X, your Gen Y, your Gen Z, and then our latest is the Gen Alpha. What I want to focus on today is our Gen X and Gen Y, and I'll explain why in just a second. So what differentiates these generations, those five that I showed you all? Well, it could be everything from slang terms to the learning style to the influence advice to the marketing. If you look at Gen Y and Gen Z, I want to talk about the learning style. You're talking interactive or multimodal. I want to look at the influence advice. You see that much more with peers and in forums. And you look at the marketing, it's online, linked, and then digital, social. So that's what we're dealing with right today. And keep in mind, this is the next generation of people who have money to spend. And they're prepared to make choices based on their own values and their own beliefs. And every person in this day and age, with the digital technology, they have a voice and they want to be heard. And the reason I want to look at Gen Y and Gen Z is predominantly because of this. Today there are 2 billion millennials and 2.4 billion centennials, representing 27 and 32% of the world's population. So we've got to link into that in the way that they engage, they communicate, they want to connect with us. Let's look at the characteristics of the Z or centennial generation. They're aged between 8 and 23-year-olds. Gen Z or post-millennial generation will take the lead in a few decades. But what is the Gen Z? It's a group of people that is marked by the internet. Everything now, for a large part of them, is online or it is digital. I was talking to my son the other day and he was sending a mate a text. And I said to him, "Son, why don't you call him?" And he said, "Well, nothing's wrong, Dad." And I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "You only call someone if something is wrong, if something's gone wrong." I said, "Are you serious?" He said, "Yeah." He said, "That's how we connect. We Snapchat, we TikTok, we X, we Y. We don't call." That kind of just did my head in. I said, I don't get that, but that's what we're living with now. And I think the other thing is young people, and rightly so, they all have a message. They have a voice, and they want to be heard, and they want to be understood. They don't want to be ignored, and they don't want to be thrown into a pool. They actually want their views to be heard, and they're going to follow their values and support those brands and those companies that meet those same values. And they're prepared to vote with their wallets on that basis. So the messages out of today, I'd say this for everybody, and this provides opportunities to do personalised content with individuals, not just a collective. But next gen, they want a voice. They want to be heard. And more than that, they don't just want to be listened to. There's a big difference between listening and hearing. They want to be heard and they want to know that you care. They expect seamless engagement. I grew up when there was obviously no internet, and then there was that dial-up internet, and you'd be sitting there waiting for that damn ring. You're like, oh my God. And even then I thought that was fast. But now it's instantaneous. And if it's not instantaneous and it's not seamless, typically if you look, when you order online and something just small goes wrong, you typically don't go back to your cart. You just ignore it and you move on. That's what we're facing in this day and age. You've got to make sure that the technology you have is a seamless integration. And they expect on-demand responses. Getting back to them in 24, 48, 72 hours isn't the way. They're actually looking for a responsive partnership with each of us and each of our brands. Now, smart packaging can support some of these expectations. So what drives next-gen behaviours? Here's just some of them. Social activism and awareness. E-commerce and shopping. Overall, Gen Z's usage of technology is characterised by its seamless integration into various aspects of our lives. And anybody here who's got kids or grandkids, we would know how often we're regularly saying to them, get off the phone, get off. At the end of the day, that is the way they engage. So we can either get on that train and work with them and figure out how we can actually be part of that journey or not. But what I would say to everybody here with the brands is they are the next generation of people who have money to spend. So how do we bridge the gap to link their values to your brands? Let's look at the emerging trends that might provide that gateway. So next generation sex, the top trends and strategies, the omni-channel experience, personalised experiences, reinventing customer loyalty, adopting extended reality and vision is going to be one of those things that they're talking about when it won't just necessarily be having to have a phone, it might be the glasses you're wearing, it might be the watch on your hand. That might actually be telling us what brands stand for without having to actually scan a code. So there's changes happening rapidly in this environment, and as a company, you need to be across it. You need to promote an agile kind of footprint in your business that you can take advantage of these windows that might only open up for 18 months or 24 months. They might not open up and be there in 5 years' time. That redundancy is happening much quicker. So here's just 11 great examples that I found online of smart labeling, smart packaging to build customer loyalty, personalised content, and create followings that last not just a week, but have legacy behind it. And they're around things like brand protection, exclusive content, product registration, gamification, authentication, safety, community, purchase and restock, personalised content, music, coupons and incentives. And so it's really figuring out what your brand stands for, your value proposition, and kind of linking this digital experience, real world experience with those you're looking to gain in. And at the end of the day, a lot of the products, probably very few of them have never been developed before. So you've got to do something to make your offering stand out, and smart packaging, smart labeling, when you've got effectively the majority of the world, certainly in first world, possibly not in second and third world, but in first world countries, everybody's walking around with a smartphone. You see them crossing the street, still on their phone when they shouldn't be. You see them on the phone at the last thing before they go to sleep. So this is the world we now live in, and here's an opportunity for it to embrace it in new ways. So this was just tonic CBD, tapping a buy button, creating repeat and complementary sales, and therefore adding to lifetime value, is now frictionless. And anyone can look at these online, but here are some of the examples. And this is not just about 2D, this is about smart labeling. All up, it could be RFID, it could be NFT, it could be 2D barcodes. There's lots of different enablers for this. This is brand protection, using NFC to battle counterfeit and engage consumers. Integrating NFC tags into their product lines to enable authentication. And if you look at things like honey and olive oil, they have been in the news over time where product has been adulterated. It's called one thing, but it's typically not. That puts people off. And if that's your brand, it can really hurt that connection that may not be restored again. So here are opportunities to say at a verified level, this is authenticated product from the provenance and the place that you thought it was from, and we can give you that guarantee. This was eBay now offering proof of authentication, again in the form of an NFC enabled tag for select footwear in partnership with SneakerCon. So I just think for brand owners who are sitting here, look at your own products, look at some of these examples and say, how could we actually integrate that into our offering? Some are going to be better for certain products. Health and beauty is going to be different for food, which is going to be different for nutraceuticals, which is going to be different for X. Some is more around brand protection and authentication. Other is more around personalized content and how to use. Other is more around safety mechanisms. Personalized prescription, in this case, details the benefits of the very product for that customer as they hold it in their hand. This is an interesting one. Hadn't heard of this one myself. DJ Geordie launched Tuned Wines, giving a wine experience using his DJ talents. He creates a special listening session to complement each wine. Now, if you love that music, that's going to draw you back. And it's you kind of look at the technology and you say, how hard is this? It's actually very doable in this day and age. And in fact, you've come to the right place to figure out smart labeling opportunities, automation for your brands online. But this kind of stuff is imminently doable. Even stuff that wasn't available 5 or 10 years ago, it is available now. Exclusive content. Looks like a lot of Lady Gaga fans here, so the chromatic Oreos. Sing It With Oreo encourages fans to send their own Oreograms. And again, you're talking about that intimate connection, not just selling to a collective, but almost a one-on-one personalised content back to your consumers, who then talk to their friends, who then talk to their friends. Or maybe they text their friends, I should say, and not talk to them. Product registration, this one around sustainability, that you have a play in actually sustainability initiatives for a better and green world. And certainly our younger generations, if you talk to them about what's on their mind, one of those things is climate change, the global challenges. They want to leave the world a better place than what they found it. And you can't do everything, but you can do something. And I think for a lot of people in this day and age, being part of a community that's doing something is really powerful. Coupons and incentives. Community bars here. This one, let me have a look. This one provided consumers an opportunity to submit their own artwork for it to be featured on the brand's packaging. Now imagine that, right? You not only participate in purchasing that product, you get to submit your own artwork. You might see your own artwork in product around stores that you shop at. That's a great way to connect, particularly with the younger generation. Gives them pride, gives them purpose, and brings in a different level of connection. I think I got a couple of others. This one here was around supporting this, scanning, and that would divert you to any business supporting female entrepreneurs. So again, if that's one of the things that you're a really big supporter of, it makes it really integrated, it makes it seamless, right? And it helps build a new community. So some of these are a bit niche, but I say fantastic. Like that niche community could still be, a lot of million people, when you're talking about how many millennials and centennials we're actually trying to grab. And I think I'll finish with this one here. This is a safety one. Again, this NFC does exactly that with incredible venting, a unique look that belies clever aerodynamic design, but importantly, it provides your vital info to medical professionals and bystanders in the event of a crash. So you think about that, this stuff's all lovely, and the way it's made looks wonderful, and the content is excellent, but this is a safety mechanism using smart packaging. In the event that you went for a ride, you had a crash, nobody knew, that activity is sent to medical professionals to come search for you and support you. That's what's available in this day and age in the new consumer, as we have opportunities to draw them into what we hope to achieve. And so hopefully that's given everybody here just a real sense. I'd leave you with those two messages. Set aside the old generational thinking. In the digital age and technology, you're talking much shorter lead times. Technology redundancy is happening more frequently. Your business has got to remain agile, so you can take those opportunities and then step into the next one as the next way to communicate emerges. Thanks very much for your time. Appreciate it.